right, everyone, gather around because the Tekken team has finally spoken after all the negative feedback that Tekken 8 Season 2 has received. This is basically the first real comment addressing all that negativity. So as you can see right here, this tweet just came out. As you can see, it says that an emergency patch will be deployed to address the issues. And it says that it's coming out this Thursday, April 17th, around 11 a.m. So let's see what they got. I got the notes pulled up on another tab. I haven't read them, so this is going to be real authentic reactions for this patch. So as you can see right here, let's just kind of go down the list. Let's read it. Balance Adjustment Policy version 2.02. All right, so as you can see, it says the development team acknowledges that following the Season 2 update, the overall game balance has shifted too heavily towards offense. All right, so they're acknowledging it. They're admitting, like, yeah, it's a little bit too offensive. We sincerely apologize that the actual balance changes did not align with the development intentions and policy previously communicated to the players. So referring to the Tekken Talk, the mini Tekken Talk that happened on YouTube like a day or two before the actual patch got released, saying that they were going to focus on defense. We deeply regret not being able to address the improvements and adjustments that the community had hoped for. Moving forward, we are committed to distinguishing between issues that can be addressed quickly and issues that require more time and community feedback for proper review. We will implement a step-by-step update process to improve the game experience. In this upcoming update, we will fix known issues and begin a balanced review based on the following policy. All right, so and then it just kind of goes on to say when it's coming out. So number 1, increase the maximum health value to help mitigate situations where matches are decided through overly one-sided momentum. All right, here's the thing. This to me is, I can already see that people are probably not going to like this. I have this weird feeling that people are not going to like this, but honestly, I am all for this change because here's the thing. Tekken 8 is always going to be Tekken 8, focusing on aggression and the heat system. That's what this game was built off of. So if you're thinking that that's going to be taken away, it's not true. So what's going to happen here? This is something that I always wanted to happen, because if you increase the maximum health if you increase the maximum health that each character has, the matches won't be decided too quickly. You know what I'm saying? And ever since the Season 2 patch dropped, that was one thing that people said, like, hey, you know what, if Season 2 is going to be this aggressive, might as well at least adjust the health and make it more, have characters have more health. Now, on the other hand, the reason why I see people already complaining, maybe crying about this, is because they probably think that it's going to be, it's going to reduce the small Tekken, poking and all that, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, to me, this is good, because if you're going to have a game that's this aggressive, increase the health. Let me kind of go down the list. It says, in light of the current damage environment trending toward inflation driven by offense, heavy game balance, and increased aerial combo damage, the maximum health value will be increased. Yeah, so as you could see, so you could see that's exactly what they're going for. They want to increase the health, so one combo, one interaction doesn't end the round particularly. Now let's go down the list here. Gradual adjustments to overly high reward moves. This update addresses the overall inflation of attack strength and combo damage by implementing adjustments that can be done quickly to moves that provide excessive reward. We recognize this as a game-wide issue rather than a problem limited to specific characters, and we plan to continue reviewing and tuning these aspects progressively. Examples of adjustments included in this update. So looks like it's doing balanced adjustments to high performance moves that can repeatedly create advantageous situations and lead to one-sided gameplay. Adjustments to moves with disproportionately high reward compared to the high risk, ensuring fair risk-reward balance. All right. Yeah, so that makes sense. There's a lot of moves in this update that are very, overwhelmingly plus and too oppressive in many situations. So this is going to be something that takes time to fix. They're obviously not going to address everything in this emergency patch, but it looks like I mean, they acknowledge that the game is a little bit too aggressive with the release of season 2. So this is going to be a long-term work in process, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to slowly adjust moves that have high rewards and all that, you know, as you can see. It's basically high reward with little risk. High reward moves should come with a lot of risk, you know what I'm saying? Now let's go to point number 3, rebalancing the offensive and defensive aspects of the heat system. Currently, the benefits gained by the attacking player through the heat system are considered too great. The following adjustments have been made. Revise damage scaling when using heat dash to suppress combo damage inflation. Adjusted frame advantage on hit for heat engagers, maintaining benefits for the attacker while allowing the defensive more opportunities to respond. All right, so now we're getting somewhere, because heat engagers right now, you hit someone with a heat engager, whenever your character hits somebody with a heat engager, I think right now it's at like plus 17 or whatever the heck. So if this is true, it says adjusted the frame advantage on hit for heat engagers. So it says they maintain their benefits for the attacker while allowing the defender more opportunities to respond. So what I'm kind of reading here is that it's safe to assume that heat engagers are not going to be plus 17 anymore. Like I said, and I've said this many times in my previous videos, it would make sense for the heat engager, the attacker, to still have some type of advantage, but lower the plus frame so that the defender can have more options. Because right now, I hit you with like an Azucena 3-3 or whatever the heck. You hit somebody with a heat engager, right? You're rushing in, you're dashing in. All your opponent can do is basically sit there, and they could block, or standing block, or crouching block. You know what I'm saying? That's practically what it comes down to. A guessing game, 50-50, whatever the heck. But if they lower the frame advantage for the attacker, then it looks like they're saying allowing the defender more opportunities to respond. So this can mean anything. This could mean, all right, now the defender is going to be able to sidestep, right? They're going to be able to sidestep, sidewalk, backdash, maybe even mash out a button to try to like jab you out of an attack or something. So that's something that many people have been wanting, and it looks like they're finally addressing that. Now we go on. Additionally, adjustments have been made to chip damage as follows. Reduced additional chip damage during heat. All right, that's good. I always said chip damage was way too big. Even after they nerfed it in this season, it was still way too much chip damage. Change the system so that moves which already deal chip damage do not receive extra chip damage while in heat state. That should have been a thing from day one. That's a good change, because if a move already does chip damage, there's no reason why it should have more chip damage while a character is in heat. I guess it makes sense because you're powered up, but looking at how the game is, it should be taken away. I agree on that. Future updates will also include adjustments to the amount of chip damage dealt by individual moves. All right, so that's future updates. Now we go on to the final point, future balance adjustments. In the next update planned for mid-May, adjustments will include reducing air combo damage and reevaluating the performance of heat burst. Okay, so air combo damage will be reduced, and performance of heat burst, what I imagine that means is that it's not going to track too much, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I imagine it would be. Also, the frames on block and hit, I imagine that those will be reduced as well. Let's go on. Additionally, we will continue to review issues that could not be addressed in this update, such as moves that consistently create advantageous situations leading to one-sided matchups, and attacks with disapproval. Okay, yeah, so we kind of just saying what they said in the upper points. And they conclude by saying, moving forward, we remain committed to incorporating player feedback and will focus on resolving cases of overly dominant character performance and interactions that result in one-sided gameplay. And that's going to be it for the patch notes. That's all we got. So, honestly, the fact that they listen, I mean, there's no way that they didn't hear the community feedback and see all the outrage on social media, Twitter, YouTube, whatever the heck, Twitch. Everybody was complaining about how screwed up and messed up Season 2 was, with how overly oppressive and offensive it was, when it comes to attacking versus defense. So, the development team, it starts out by saying that they acknowledge that it was too much. And it looks like they are taking the time to address this and fix the game little by little. Because like I said, They want Tekken 8 to succeed. They want it. They want to have this game continue to thrive, be in big major tournaments, Evo, whatever the heck. They want the numbers. They want the money. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to be funding tournaments for old Tekken games. You know, people are kind of going back and playing old Tekken games right now. They're just not going to support that. They want this game to be the game, and then ultimately that leads to a more, like, the future Tekken 9 or whatever the heck. So it looks like they're listening. And it's going to be a big work in progress. It's not going to be fixed overnight with this just one patch. And there's going to be more patches coming up. But I imagine, you know, it says that there's going to be another patch in mid-May. I would imagine that that might come out before Evo Japan, I think. But, you know, it's up to anybody's guess at this point. Overall, to me, it looks like they are starting to realize, all right, maybe this game is a little bit too offensive, like offensive-wise, I should say. Too aggressive. Like I said, there's a way to make this game aggressive and true to the way it was built, while also having good defensive options. So it looks like they're kind of starting to realize that a little bit. A lot of these things, to me, I don't know how it sounds to you, but I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. Let's see what's going on with this and what's up with this patch when it does release. Let me see this. I like I said in the beginning, I can already see that point number 1, max health, is probably gonna freaking not sit well with people. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go to Twitter. All right, here we go. Dang, One Piece is trending. I gotta get on that again. View quotes. Okay, no surprise, the first tweet is already this guy being like, and you can see he's quoting this the point number 1. All right, this guy looks like this guy's a little bit optimistic, right? You win, Tekken 2 King, classic. Okay, and we got another guy. Look, how can they be this ignorant to feedback? Point number 1 with a couple likes there. Why increase health when you could just take 5 damage off every long... see? Wild Ride, yep. I do like that they were very, like, honest about their feedback there. This guy, dude. If poke damage is not heavily buffed, this is the final nail in the coffin for Tekken 8. You gotta be kidding me, dude. That's not true. Like I said in the beginning, I knew that point number 1 was gonna be people are gonna have a problem with that. I hate increasing health, but everything else is incredible if they can execute it correctly. Okay. Again, see? A big H, a big huh, right? Look at these people, dude. I don't know, man, dude. It's not that bad. I don't know, man. This guy with the meme. Good start with changes. Change has me worried, increasing HP. May have the unintended effect of nerfing the poke. I get that. I understand what these people are going for. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I think there's still going to be a poking game in Tekken 8. Health increase. See, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think that the health increase is gonna be that bad. Of course, that's, you know, after the Season 2 patch came out, we have no idea what's gonna happen. You know, we got no idea. It could go well, it could go bad. But I don't think that the health increase is gonna be that bad. I really don't. I don't know if... I feel like I'm saying that word a lot, that phrase, but... How do you guys feel about the health increase? There are bigger issues than that, honestly. Well, this does look like a step in the right direction. I do think increasing health is worrying for the future. The health increase is yeah, like I said, immediately when I read that, I was all like, that's going to be the main point of debate. It's this guy. I want to try the patch and spend time playing before sharing his opinion. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not, because that's kind of what Harada tweeted out. Wait to try the patch before you make a judgment, and then look how it turned out. So I can't tell if it's sarcastic or not by Joko there. I need water. Matt Hardy. I don't know, man. Like, I really don't think it's that. But again, the patch isn't live. The patch isn't live, so we can only speculate and guess what more health is going to do. Oh, what do we got here? Yeah, so they're kind of just repeating what they said in the patch notes. Yeah, I think the people who are concerned about the health being increased is a little bit overreacting. That's just my opinion. It could go horribly, that's still a very real possibility, but I don't see it being that big of a deal. I really don't. I really don't. And it makes sense. They gotta increase health because of how aggressive this game is. You know what I'm saying? I think Johnny's out there and looking for food. I'm gonna have to go feed him. I don't know if you guys heard the meow. But overall, look, the patch is coming out Thursday, Japan time. Looks like that's what it says. So that means that here in the U.S., we'll probably get it Wednesday, I think. I have to double check on that. Anyway, look, it looks like they're listening to feedback and they're trying to correct the mistakes that they made. It's going to take a long time, but ultimately, I think that Tekken 8 I think it got to the point where the developers are like, all right, let's kind of tone down the aggression a little bit. We'll see what happens. I'm just happy that they were transparent. They were very honest. And that goes a long way, because a lot of developers don't actually do that. Not even developers. A lot of people don't admit they're wrong when they are wrong. But just acknowledging, hey, look, our product, this new patch was not it was not it, right? Just them acknowledging that and trying to make a difference. It looks like it's a step in the right direction. We'll see what happens. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to wrap it up for now. Let me know what y'all think. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe out there. Take care. And I'll see you in the next video.